box of bits, too small, random aluminium rod. Now that is the right diameter, but it might be too long. Let's go and stick it in the hole. Right, so I found a cut. Oh no, right, so I need to lengthen that thread to make that bolt work. Right, let's get this bolt in here. So what I need to do is extend the thread down there. It's basically like cutting a new bolt from, if you imagine that it's just a regular piece of steel bar. So what you use to do this is something called a tap and die set. Now a tap is for putting a new thread. That would cut a thread inside the nut there. And actually we want to use the die part of it, which looks like one of those, but it's got super sharp teeth. You can see it just looks like a nut, but it's actually got super sharp teeth on it. And not only that, but it's got these circular cutouts to catch the swarf that come out. That is made of case hardened steel with a high carbon content, so that is super tough. So at the moment the die is just working its way down over the existing thread on the bolt, so the resistance is pretty much nothing. I mean, you could just turn that around as I am doing with one finger, but in a second it's now got to the end of the thread. So what I'm going to do is backtrack a little bit and put some, it's not exactly the right stuff, but it's what we've got and it'll work. Some copper grease on there to reduce the friction, keep the temperature down, and make sure that the tool continues to live as it cuts. So the rule generally is with using one of these is you go half forward and the resistance is much higher. It's much harder to turn, and then almost the same amount back. And it's now cutting new threads. The reason you return it is to release the swarf. So now we're cutting new threads. We're just basically extending this bolt. So that is now exactly the right length of thread. So we take the die off and reveal a longer bolt. That bolt now has a longer thread, and you can see the nut fits perfectly. But there's a reason that I'm actually screwing that nut down onto the new thread, because that bolt is too long. So there's a little trick for cutting a bolt, which my dad showed me years ago actually. It's really useful. So I'm going to chop the end off this one. Okay, so that bolt is now the right length, but let me just show you. Here is a nut. Now if I offer a nut up to that and try and get it to fit, I can't actually get it to go on straight. Look, it keeps trying to go on at an angle. It won't go on straight, and that is exactly why I put that nut there, because upon undoing that, it will naturally cut itself, the first thread, into the right shape, so that, and I'll show you this, I can feel it getting stiffer now. It's now cutting the first thread. Yep, now that means that hopefully any nut will go, there you go, look at that. Looks like a new bolt. Let's fit it up. Right, let's see if it fits. Yes, it does, perfect. So I need to get the nut and the washers on that. Job done.